You ain't got anybody work like overnight tonight that needs to go? No? All right. So these two gentlemen in the front, they're off, so.
That would be position 7 and position 8, Your Honor. Telvin Green and Calvin Bailey. No, just one.
Just take Telvin Green.
Green.
All right, Telvin Green, whichever. Come on up here. Tap this microphone, see if it's working, because half the time.
They uploaded a second commitment package that will be after the first one, which is all the right ones.
Okay.
Yeah, the first commitment package has the wrong ones, but there's a second commitment package that has the right ones. And I called to check out this day we were talking, it said that what's missing in case won't screw up anything with the other ones.
Okay.
We just need to decline that. It's the one ending in 9.
Just want to make sure. I appreciate it. You want to approach the stand?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Okay.
He's been.
Oh, it's still not.
It's still not. It's still not cooperating. So what you may have to do since it's, hit the little green button. Hit that button. I'll hold it. There you go. Now tap.
Hello?
Oh. I just pull it down so you can talk into it. That's. Tap on it, make sure it's still. Just do that. Okay. Hit that. All right, so this will be position 7, Bostic. It's 22 CP 212716, 209 days without indictment. Got possession of fire by a convicted felon, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession of fire or a knife during the commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies. Where's Mr. Lyle?
I'm on the Zoom screen.
Okay, how's that? Okay, so you still have it. I'm like, so your lawyer's on there. Do you see him? Okay, all right. All right, go ahead. Officer, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if you could state, spell your name for the court reporter, please.
My name is Cody Swanger, currently, currently assigned as a detective with the City of Atlanta Police Department.
You spell your name for the court reporter, please.
CODYSWANGER.
Officer Swanger, where are currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the City of Atlanta Police Department.
And were you employed with them on September 28, 2022?
Yes.
And how did you become aware of Telvin Green?
So me and my partner, we were assigned on the Apex unit, which is the Atlanta Proactive Enforcement and Interdiction Unit. On that day, we conducted a traffic stop in which Mr. Telvin Green was a passenger inside the vehicle. Conducted the traffic stop for having an expired tag that expired on 9/10/2022. During this traffic stop, there was a odor of marijuana coming from the vehicle. We asked both occupants to step out and so we could conduct our investigation into the odor of marijuana. During the investigation, it was found under Mr. Telvin Green's seat, a loaded firearm, a Glock 22 with a serial number.
Apologies, the microphone of the witness stand seems to be coming in and out.
Do you need me to move closer?
Move it down.
Move it down a little bit. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So under Mr. Telvin Green's seat was a black Glock 22, serial number Adam George Robert 370. In the glove compartment was 15 grams of marijuana along with the digital scale. And in the center console, there was an additional amount of marijuana. Mr. Green was shown to be a convicted felon with 42 arrest cycles, with his most recent conviction being felony shoplifting in DeKalb County as of 3/4/2022.
And how much did the marijuana weigh?
So there was 15 grams in one bag that was located in the glove compartment along with the digital scale, and then 2 more bags in the center console that had 2 more grams. So I believe it was Approximately 19 grams total.
And did he have any cash on him?
I can't recall the specific amount. I believe we allowed him to keep the amount of money that he had when he went to Fulton County. So we didn't count it.
And what is your training in regards to illegal narcotics?
So I have done extensive training. I've done drug identification and recognition. I've done biochemical lab testing. I've done gang training. I don't have my record in front of me, but I have attended a large amount of additional training outside of the City of Atlanta Police Department, as well as being on the Atlanta Proactive Enforcement and Interdiction Unit for approximately 5 years.
And why did you assume that the substance that was in the bags was marijuana?
It is consistent with my knowledge, training, and experience to that time, the odor, the appearance.
Can we get you to check the podium microphone for me?
Should I adjust it?
No, mine. I think it's mine.
Sorry.
Can you hear me now? Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't have it in front of me. Is that better? Okay. And where did the stop occur?
902 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway, inside Fulton County.
And what's your knowledge, training, and experience? What is the reason for the digital scale?
Digital scales are commonly used to weigh marijuana in order to make sales so that they can make sure they have an approximate weight. If someone wants to buy 3 or 4 grams, they use the digital scale to weigh that in order to distribute it.
And how was the marijuana packaged? Can you go from the different areas? And I know it's 2 different areas. How was it packaged in the center console? How was it packaged in, I believe, the glove box?
Separate packages inside the center console and a larger bag inside the glove compartment. This can be used, commonly used. They would sell the smaller baggies, and then the 15 grams, they would then separate that into additional bags to make further sales.
Where was the gun?
Under Mr. Telvin Green's seat. It was handed to him during the beginning of our traffic stop, according to him and the driver, Mr. Asefi.
Did you see him handle the firearm?
When we initiated the traffic stop, we observed something being exchanged between the driver and the passenger. Couldn't determine exactly what it was, but from our vantage point, it appeared they passed something to each other, which was later, during our interview of them, determined to be the firearm.
And you went through his conviction. What was the basis, a little quickly, so just so I could have it down, what was the basis for the possession of a firearm by a convicted felon?
So we searched his criminal history because he was in possession of a firearm and the marijuana that we located. Once we searched his criminal history, we located 42 arrest cycles with a most recent conviction for felony shoplifting in DeKalb County on 3/4/2022. And that was just the most recent one, not the only conviction.
Do you see Mr. Telvin Green in the courtroom?
Yes.
And can you please describe an article of clothing he is wearing?
He is seated at the defendant's table with a blue shirt on with a white shirt underneath.
May the court recognize that he has positively identified the defendant.
All right, noted.
What is the process, for APD once illegal narcotics are seized during an investigation?
We take them to the Atlanta Police Annex located at 3493 Donald Hollowell, and they go through additional testing. But that is at the end of our chain of custody. We bag it and turn it in, and that is the end of our chain of custody.
And was that done in this case?
Correct.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
All right, Cross.
All right, good afternoon.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Good. So regarding the stop, what was the reason for the vehicle stop again?
It was a expired tag that expired on 9/10/2022, approximately 18 days before our encounter.
Okay, and was the vehicle ever reported stolen?
Not that I recall, no.
Okay, and was the vehicle registered to the driver?
I actually don't know. I don't remember. It's not listed in my report.
Okay. Now, you stated that during the traffic stop, you saw an exchange between the driver and the passenger. Where were you located when you saw this?
In our vehicle. So without tent, it's pretty easy to see movement inside of a vehicle. And once we initiate a traffic stop, we tend to, start watching pretty hard. I don't know the best way to say that, but we start intently watching to make sure they're not, trying to throw anything out of the car or do anything. So we start watching pretty hard to make sure that they're not doing anything. And when we were watching, we observed an exchange of something.
Okay, and so you were in the driver's seat at the time?
Yes.
Your police vehicle, okay. And was the dash cam on?
I believe so.
And you said, what was the tinting on the windows like in the defendant's vehicle?
Not very tinted.
Okay.
Enough for me to be able to see through.
All right, and what was the approximate size of the item transferred between the driver and the passenger?
I can't attest to that. But I did read Miranda to both of them. And Mr. Green stated Mr. Asefi did indeed hand him the gun, which he stuffed under the seat. That's on body camera, and that was under Miranda. And Mr. Asefi stated the same thing. Mr. Asefi was read Miranda and stated the firearm was his, but he handed it to Mr. Green when the traffic stop occurred.
And when was that interview done?
Sorry?
When were they Mirandized?
On scene.
On scene?
Yes,
And they were questioned on scene as well?
correct.
And were they together at the time of questioning, or were they separated?
Separated.
So exactly where under the seat was it located? Was the gun located under the front of the seat, near the rear of the seat?
Front of the seat to where you could get it from the front position.
All right, and did you ever see Mr. Green bend over towards the bottom of the seat?
Just movement in general. A lot of movement after the exchange, the clear exchange of some item. He continued to move around. So
And regarding the gun, did that gun have a serial number on it?
correct. Yes.
And was it registered to anyone in particular that you're aware of?
We don't get that information back when we run these, when we run firearms.
Okay. And were any fingerprints taken from the gun?
Negative.
Was the gun reported stolen at any time?
No, not at that time.
You stated that you had smelled marijuana when you approached the vehicle.
Correct.
Which side did you approach, the driver's side or the passenger side?
I normally approach the driver's side.
And how close to the driver's side window were you when you smelled the marijuana?
I could smell it on approach, but I can't, I mean, I don't know as far as feet.
Okay. And when you searched the car, did you receive permission by the occupant? Excuse me, did you receive permission from the occupants to search the vehicle?
Negative, I didn't need it.
And regarding the glove compartment, was the glove compartment locked when you searched it, or was it unlocked?
I believe it was unlocked.
And was there any testing of the alleged marijuana done on site?
Yes, as stated earlier, it's sent off to the GBI for further testing, but our chain of custody ends at the Atlanta property annex. We send it off to get tested, and that's the end of our interaction with the suspected marijuana.
All right, and was Mr. Green searched?
Yes.
And other than a small amount of cash on him, was anything else found?
Not that I recall.
All right, and your body camera was on during the entire process of the traffic stop?
Correct.
All right. No further questions.
All right, anything else on direct?
I have no redirect at this time, Your Honor.
What's it, anything else?
No redirect at this time, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Stay safe out there. Have a good day, y'all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Lyle, your client's wanting to speak with you. I don't know how that'll happen here with him in the courtroom, you on Zoom. Sir, is it something relevant to this case, or you just wanting to chat with him because you haven't seen him?
I spoke with him yesterday.
Hold on a second, Mr. Lyle. He said he spoke with you yesterday.
I can't hear his.
He's, no, so sir, you're kind of mumbling a little. He said some. I understand. I understand. I appreciate that. Mr. Law, he said some of the stuff the officer was saying wasn't right. So.
Yes, from our conversation yesterday, his testimony did contradict what Mr. Green told me in person. So I'm aware of those facts that are different between his testimony and what my client says. Based on our conversation at the jail.
All right. So that's kind of part of it, but absolutely, sir. All right, go ahead with your argument.
Yeah,
Yes,
and I will visit you again probably Friday to go over this hearing, sir.
All right, go ahead, Mr. McCullough.
Yes, Your Honor. I just would like to let the court know that he had the marijuana in his direct area. It was in a glove box right in front of him. It was in the center console right to the left of him. Also, the gun was seen being passed to him. He handled the gun, and then it was right in front of the passenger seat where he easily could access it, Your Honor. The officer was able to go ahead and check his history and determine that his most recent criminal conviction for a felony, and he placed that. And also in regards to the marijuana, he did have a digital scale with the actual marijuana, and the officer went into detail in regards to why and how the digital scale is used, and also how in traditionally the drugs are sold, Your Honor. I ask that you find probable cause for all charges before the court.
Mr. Lyle.
Yes, Your Honor. I would request the dismissal of the possession of firearm by convicted felon and during commission or attempt to commit certain felonies, as the officer stated that he was able to see that something was passed to Mr. Green and that the gun was under his seat, but he didn't say that. I especially asked if he had seen Mr. Green reach under the seat or put anything under the seat. He just said general movements were in the vehicle and nothing saying he was actually going down to touch the weapon or was in possession of the weapon at the time.
Mr. McCauley?
Yes, Your Honor. Passing of the gun was seen. Nothing else was passed. The officer said he actually saw it and it was within his direct grab area, Your Honor. As not only was it seen by the officer, the gun being passed and him handling the gun, it was in between his legs and through, when he was Mirandized, that he actually did say that the driver passed him the gun. So, Your Honor, I believe it was sufficient evidence to see that he actually knew he was being passed the gun. He had possession of the gun. He placed the gun underneath the front seat, Your Honor, and it was within his direct grab area.
All right, I'll go ahead and find probable cause on all three counts. He has a $25,000 good bond as of March the 27th. Do you want to be heard on bond, Mr. Lyle?
Yes, Your Honor. Would you like me to make the argument first, or you would like for Ms. Bostic to?
I was waiting. Wait a minute. Where'd Bostic go? Bostic.
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. Nope, wrong guy. Green, extensive history, repeat offender. 43 prior arrests, 9 arrests for probation violations, 4 FTAs, 16, 16, 18, 18, 3 misdemeanors. Like the defense attorney, not defense, the officer said he has a couple of theft by shoplifters are his most recent. 21, 22, he's currently on probation for a theft by shoplifting sentence in 2022 for 3 years. Couple of entering autos, theft, terroristic threats, 2017, obstruction. Nothing further.
All right, and Mr. Law, it looks like on here, and there's an active warrant out of DeKalb County. Not sure if that's still good or something you've handled before, but it just pops up on Odyssey. Go ahead, I'll hear from you.
All right, Mr. Green is age 28. He was born here in Georgia, lived here his entire life. His mothers and his siblings live here in Atlanta as well at the address listed on the booking sheet, which is Campbellton Road Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in contact with his mother and his sister and have been throughout this entire case. So he does have good family ties to the area. He helps feed the homeless through the YMCA in Campbellton Road. He does have some image issues. Even though he has a substantive criminal history, we're asking for a reduction in bond to $20,000, as he has been since September in 2022. So it's been a good 6 months he's been in the jail at this point.
209 days without indictment. Go ahead, Mr. McCauley.
Yes, Your Honor. We are concerned in regards to the criminal history that he do have, Your Honor. We are concerned that he actively was passed a gun and handled a gun during the time of the traffic stop, Your Honor. He had direct access to the marijuana that was in the vehicle, Your Honor. We are concerned for the public safety and also the propensity for the defendant to likely commit additional felonies while out on probation. We will submit to the court while out on bond, Your Honor. We will submit to the court in regards to the amount of bond.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with your co-defendant. And it's SOHRAAB, last name ASSEFI. You can have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, and employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, the exact location you're going to be working. And also, sir, if you have that hold, you'll have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on your ankle once you get released. So we'll see. 10,000, 2,000, and 10,000. Best of luck to you, sir. All right. Thank you, Mr. Lyle. Is that all you have, Mr. Lyle?
Until night court, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, come on up.
A few hours.
What case are you here on? Bailey.
You want to come back for a quick moment, officer?
Sure. Let's see. Position 8, right? Yeah, the theft by receiving stolen property?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, position 8.
Okay.
Is Mr. Fortis here? Don't,
Back in 1 second, or I might have one.
okay, sure. I don't see Mr. Fortis. Scott Fortis. Let's see. Ta-da. Miss Watts, have we heard anything from Mr. Fortis?
I have not, Judge. Let me try to reach him out. That, through, give me one moment.
Your Honor. And position number 9 is Officer Smalls. Officer Smalls is not here. Position number 8 is Officer Tabor. Officer Tabor is here, just to let you know that, Your Honor.
Right.
It's the same defendant, but I just want to let you know that Officer Smalls is not here. I reached out to my office. We are trying to get in contact with him as of right now.
Let's see. Well, Mr. Fortis, so you represent him on another one? You represent him on the other case?
Yeah, I represent him on this tonight.
Okay, let's see.
I talked to Mr. Portis, he told me you're represented on this change.
And then he's not here. Let me see. Let's see.
I figured that's.
Sure. Wait a second, we'll see it. Yeah, this Judge Manning is, Mr. Fortis in? He is supposed to be here in court. Uh-huh. He's double checking with him to see if he has to be in court.
I think you should know, Your Honor, if anybody knows.
What's that?
I think.
Calvin Bailey.
Squared away.
They're checking to see if he's supposed to be in court. I guess they don't trust me. I didn't want to have to listen to music all by myself.
We appreciate it.
Judge Manning, I sent you a chat, on Teams.
What's that? Oh, check this chat.
Just want this, let me transfer you over to him, okay?
Okay. Well, Mr. Fortis, it's Judge Manning. I have you down on my calendar for Mr. Bailey. I just sent you the Zoom link. It's a prelim and a bond. Yeah, I just sent it to you, but let's see. I don't know that it said this. That's okay. Yeah, I just sent you the Zoom link. It was from like another email, another case. Okay, thanks. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you ain't gotta worry about that. You can just jump on. When he gets here, he said he only did an entry for the purpose of bond, but there's no limited entry of appearance that I see.
I didn't. I'll take a look, Your Honor.
There, he's logging on now.
And Your Honor, while we're looking at that, position number 1, Ingram.
Okay.
And that case was presented to the jury on Friday, and I just found out that it was true billed.
See, I don't even see who the lawyer is on that one.
Tyrone Walls.
He's on 2. Is he on 1 and 2?
He's on 1 and 2. I do have the officer here for position number 2.
Okay.
So position number 1 was indicted.
Mr. Walls, are you online? No, he's not. So, Mr. Fortis.
Yes, Judge.
So, Mr. Fortis, I was looking. I don't see it. I see just an entry of appearance by you. I don't see a limited entry.
I don't know if I looked at it. I don't know if they styled it as an entry. I mean, as a limited entry, but I do have a copy of the bond motion. But either way, we can waive prelim and just move to the bond issue.
Okay, then this officer can be excused.
Much.
Thank you. All right, you can just sit there if you want, I guess.
I'm
That's
going
fine.
now.
So, Mr. Bailey, he's just going to waive your prelim on disposition and just go with a bond hearing. As of March the 7th, you had a $58,000 good bond. So this is 22 CP 214077, 157 days without indictment, theft by receiving stolen property, driving, fleeing, attempting to elude a police officer, driving hit and run, duty of a driver to stop or to return to the scene of an accident, driving while license suspended or revoked, giving false information, failure to have a license on person, and the old seatbelt violation.
This is just on 8.
Yeah, this is just 8.
Number 15 prior arrests, blah, 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 blah. A couple open cases, also position 8, also 22 SC 182436, fleeing and eluding. Reckless driving, failure to maintain lane. 23 SC 216606, unauthorized use, possession of prohibited item, interference with government property. 17 SC 154969, on probation. 17 SC 154967. Burglary, criminal damage to property, theft by taking in both cases. Sentence on the same day. 3-year confinement, 2 years probation.
Mr. Bailey, you're talking a little loud.
So what?
I was telling Mr. Bailey, he's talking loud. I can hear what he was saying.
Okay. Prior conviction for participation. A criminal attempted burglary and theft by receiving stolen property. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Fortis.
Judge, and I'm sorry, earlier, did you say that there was already a $58,000 good bond on it?
Yes, sir, as of March the 7th.
Right, Judge. The case remains still unindicted. We would ask that there be a further reduction. He's 29 years of age. His whole family is here. He received his GED in 2017. He has a son that's about 6 months old. Prior to his arrest, Your Honor, he was working at a furniture recycling company. He also did roadside assistance for an automotive company. Judge, just happened to be a situation. I don't want to get too much into the facts, but he was basically had borrowed a car from a friend of his, And I guess the car came back stolen. And so he was pumping gas, and an unmarked patrol car was boxing him in. He didn't realize if they were police and or if it was a robbery that was getting ready to happen. So therefore, he did try and get away at that particular point in time. He was apprehended and arrested. Looks like he's been in since November of last year, I believe. And so we would ask the court to consider cutting the bond in half.
All right, what says the state?
Yes, Your Honor. As we are aware that the officer did address him at the time, and Mark Eunice was shortly there on the scene, Your Honor. So he was aware that it was police officers shortly after they did arrive to the scene, Your Honor. Also, while he was doing this, he did actually hit another vehicle, did cause damage to that vehicle, and did not get away because the vehicle was damaged such to a point that it was not drivable, Your Honor. We are concerned that he has this current fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer, and he also have a pending fleeing or attempting to elude. If he is approached by officers, that means that he appears that he will not comply with their actual instructions, Your Honor. We're concerned for the public safety because with the fleeing and attempting to elude, he is put in the public safety highly, because it is multiple people that was actually in a gas station. And we are concerned if he will actually return to actually face the charges, Your Honor. We will refer to the court in regards to the amount of bond.
Judge, one last thing. He's been in now going on about 6 months without indictment, number one. Number two, even as the ADA alluded to, marked cars eventually did come to the scene. But when everything kind of unfolded, it was unmarked cars. They didn't identify themselves, and Mr. Bailey didn't know at that time. Now, eventually, yes, marked vehicles did appear on scene. We're aware of that. And then he was taken into custody. But before all of that, when all this was kind of going on, the reality of it is that Mr. Bailey didn't know what was going on, other than, obviously we see on the news all the time, people sliding into cars, people getting robbed, whatever the case may be. So that's what initially started it. But then marked cars did come onto the scene. And that's why we think that cutting the bond in half would be reasonable, given the fact that he's been sitting in now for 6 months, can't make the bond, and
All right, so I'm reading this. It says, let's see. Officers working in over capacity was able to confirm that it was the correct vehicle and it was stolen. So I put the vehicles in the driver's seat. They conducted a takedown, exited the patrol cars. Mr. Bailey put the transmission in reverse, rammed Atlanta Police Patrol Vehicle 34234, nearly striking Officer Wright. He then proceeded to put the put the transmission in drive, he put it in drive, I guess, and nearly struck that officer, ripping out the fuel pump. He was not utilizing his safety belt as he tried to flee between the pumps. He slammed into another vehicle and continued striking concrete poles. Okay, and also, Mr. Portis, if I need you to sign this waiver of a prelim.
you have my permission to sign, Your Honor, if that'll be sufficient.
Okay, can you give this to him? Maybe you could instruct your client, like, kind of.
Mr. Bailey, all we're doing is waiving the prelim,
Thanks.
probable cause, not the bond. So if you could sign that, I'd
Thank
recommend
you,
you.
John. All right, so we got no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. 1 second. And he's gonna still live in Fulton County?
He'll live in Fulton County.
All right. You're gonna have an income monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, and employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. Also, no driving unless this bond is modified. So you can only drive unless a judge modifies this bond. Should I get 10,000, 20,000, 10,000, 1,000, $500, and then the last two for you to have license on person and seatbelt, that'll be UJR through the jail. 10,000, 20,000, 10,000, 1,000, 500 to UJRs. Best of luck to you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Fortis.
Thank you, Judge. Sorry about my delay.
No, that's quite all right.
Judge, was your number 46?
It's 41.5.
41.5, I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
It's okay.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right, have a good one. So what's the status with Officer Smalls?
I haven't heard anything in regards to Officer Smalls as of this time, Your Honor. Officer Smalls was subpoenaed for the hearing, Your Honor, but Officer Smalls is not here at this time.
Officer Smalls worked for what department?
Officer Smalls is with APD.
What's Officer Smalls' first name?
The first initial is L. Hold on one second.
Oh, I got, okay. So yeah, it's on here. It just says L on the warrant. All right. Ms. Rondon?
Yes, Your Honor. I would object to any sort of continuance in this case. As stated, Officer Smalls was sent a subpoena. He has not provided any sort of reason or excuse for him not appearing today. He's no called, no showed, and I would ask for the charges against Mr. Bailey to be dismissed for one of prosecution.
All right, Mr. McCauley?
Your Honor, the officer was subpoenaed about our procedures that we have in our office. It was sent to the custodian, and the custodian did have it. We sent it in enough of a mandatory time, and at this time, Officer Smalls is not here.
All right, we'll allow one reset. We'll address bond, but it'll be one and only one reset. How long do you need to make sure the officer gets subpoenaed?
Can I have at least 2 weeks, Your Honor?
Ms. Watts?
Yes, Judge, we can do either May 8th at 1 p.m. or May 15th.
Those both Mondays?
Yes.
Ms. Rondon?
If I could check my calendar.
Sure, absolutely. We'll still address bond right now, Ms. Rondon, if you like.
Awesome. And will the order reflect no more resets?
Yep, one reset. One reset, let's see. Is there one reset only for officer to be subpoenaed?
May 8th is
Okay.
fine.
May 8th is fine, Ms. Watts.
Was that 9 a.m. or 1 p.m., Your Honor?
1 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Watts.
You're welcome.
May 8th at 1 p.m. Right. Well, we've heard his criminal history, but it's 23 CP 216609, 157 days without indictment, entering an auto or a motor vehicle with intent to commit a theft or a felony, criminal trespass, damage to property, theft by taking misdemeanor. And this allegation, I think this happened in November of last year. Yes, November of last year is the actual incident date. Go ahead, Ms. Rondon.
Yes, Mr. Bailey is 29 years old. He is a lifelong resident of Atlanta. He does have a good address on file. That is his mom's residence, and he would be able to stay with her. He has family here to include his one son, who is now about 9 months old. He has attained his GED, and he was employed prior to his arrest. He was working 2 jobs, one at a furniture recycling and one doing roadside assistance. Mr. Bailey currently has a $12,500 good bond. I would be asking for that to be reduced to about half, bond not to exceed $7,000. Mr. Bailey has been in custody since November 2022, so about 157 days, although this incident did occur in 2021. We'd be asking for the bond to be cut.
Yeah, correction. I think I said of last year, but it was November the 29th of 2021. All right, what says the state?
Your Honor, what we are concerned about is we have a case in which it was the entering of auto, Your Honor. At the time, we are unaware if anybody was in the actual vehicle, Your Honor, but we are concerned that somebody could have been in the vehicle. We are concerned in regards to the defendant who has a long criminal history. And not only the long criminal history, Your Honor, he actually has another open case before the court. I'd like the court to take that into consideration of if the defendant would commit additional, the concern is the defendant will commit additional felonies, Your Honor. We'll defer to the court in regards to the.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 12 Honor Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. No further contact with John Bryant. You're gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, and employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. 4,000, 4,000, and 1,000. Best of luck to you, sir. And see you on May 8th at 1 p.m. Thank you for having signed that, Ms. Rondon. All right, what we got next?
Your Honor, we have.
What case? You got two cases, right? You want to come on up, ma'am?
It will be the officer in positions 3 and 4, Your Honor.
All right, let's see. You want to bring out Garion Holder? Come on up. We'll do Garion Holder first.
Your Honor, they are co-defendants in regards to the same case. The state will request that we have both defendants up at the same time. It will be the same.
Which other defendant?
It's Terrence Fonfield.
All right, you can bring them both, Terrence Fonfield. Now, Terrence has a couple other cases.
Yes, and that is a different officer. Positions 5 and 6, Your Honor, is Officer Jeffrey Rickberg. And he has an approved leave, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Earl, if you want to come up here, we can hear. Well, here, while they bring him out, you can have a seat. We'll hear on positions 5 and 6. So it's 22 CP 212416, 221 days without indictment, burglary in the second degree. Position 6 is 22 CP 212417, Terrence Fonfield, 221 days without indictment, burglary in the second degree. Go ahead, Mr. Earl.
So Judge, I just found out that I had these cases over the weekend.
Oh, okay. So welcome.
I'll take Holder over here.
Yeah, I haven't had access to Odyssey because for whatever reason, my computer's glitched out. So I'm trying to get that fixed. Simply put, since the officer's not here, I haven't had an opportunity to review these two cases anyway. So
There, I guess they'll ask for one more reset. How long do you need on 5 and 6?
I could, as soon as, I'm trying to get the Odyssey thing worked out, but I could probably try to use an internal computer for the time being, but I should be prepared by the end of the week as far as that goes.
Do you need a continuous on the other case too?
No, I spoke to Mr. Font.
Just 5 and 6?
Yes, Judge.
All right.
But
So
I would need a moment just to get a little bit of information.
Yes, Your Honor. His leave is up, I believe, on Monday, Your Honor. So with his approved leave is through this week up to Monday. So
he wouldn't get it. So you probably want the week after that.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm okay with that, Judge.
All right. What's that?
That'd be the 8th, I believe.
Oh, yeah. In May 8th,
May 8th.
1 p.m. also?
Yes.
All right. May 8th, 1 p.m. Does that work, Mr. Olaf?
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
Which case is this one for?
This is position 5 and 6, reset for Monday to May 8th at 1 p.m. That's because officers on approved leave.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Got that, Ms. Aaron? Is that it for you?
I have it.
Yes, ma'am. We'll see you this evening. I think you got it. All right, so now, Bostic, we're going to handle position 3 and 4. You want to raise your right hand, officer? You swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right. State your name for the court reporter, please.
My name is Ratisha Smith. It's RATESHA. Last name Smith, SMITH, and I currently work for the City of South Fulton Police Department as a detective.
All right. So we got position 3 is 22 CP 212415, 221 days without indictment, burglary in the second degree. And we have position 4, 22 CP 212415, Garion Holder, 221 days without indictment, burglary in the second degree. Go ahead, Mr. McCulley.
And Your Honor, just since it's all three of us, is okay if I do my questions from the bench? Okay. And officer, did you say detective? Is that correct?
That's correct.
I apologize, ma'am. And detective, were you employed with the City of South Fulton on August 8th, August 10th, 2022?
That's correct.
And how did you become aware of Gary and Lynn Holder and Terrence Fonfield?
Mr. Fonfield, just a little bit lower because that microphone is a live microphone, so I can hear you. That's okay.
On August 10th, 2022, at 5415 on National Highway, were dispatched in reference to a burglary in progress.
And what county is that in?
That's in Fulton County.
Please go ahead.
We were dispatched to the location. Upon our arrival, there were two males in the wood line who were going towards the Old National Plaza near Grown Folks. There was a gold Infiniti that was outside near the wood line by the dumpsters. There was a female and a male inside that vehicle. The female was Tamara Richmond and the male was Reginald Wilburn. The second offender had got away, which was identified as T-Baby, which we found out his name was Terrence Fonfield. There was CCTV video footage on scene. The outside of the video footage was in color. The inside was in black and white. Mr. Fonfield did not have on a mask, so you can see his face clearly. And as far as Mr. Gary and Holder, he also did not have on a mask, and he had that same sling on CCTV footage.
And what did you see on the CCTV footage?
So on CCTV footage, you can see two males using a yellow crowbar to force entry into that business. After they force entry into that business, they're seen going through the kitchen to where the liquor and storage is, where they took cases of liquor back and forth outside to the wood line to that Infiniti.
And is the CCTV on the outside, is it in color?
Yes,
And for the CCTV on the inside, is it in color?
it's in black and white.
In black and white. Are you able to see facial features for the CCTV on the outside?
Yes,
Are you able to see facial features for the CCTV on the inside?
yes,
Are you able to see body gait in regards to how somebody is walking for the CCTV on the outside?
yes,
Are you able to see body gait as regards to somebody is walking for CCTV on the inside?
yes,
And are you able to see the full, were you able to see the full body on the CCTV on the outside?
yes,
Are you able to see the full body on the CCTV on the inside?
yes.
You said it was a business. What is the name of the business?
The business is called Daiquiri Bar and Grill.
And did you get in contact with the owners of the Daiquiri Bar and Grill?
His name is Reginald something. I can't.
Do you have any of your notes?
Yes.
If you can refresh your recollection and please spell the name for the record.
His name was Reginald Miller. It's REGINALD. Last name Miller, common spelling MILLER.
Did you speak with Mr. Miller?
Yes, I did.
During the time that this incident occurred, was the business open or closed?
Closed.
And it was closed to the public and all public?
Yes.
And did Mr. Holder work for the business to the best of your knowledge?
No, sir. He did not work there.
Did Mr. Fonfield work for the business?
No, sir.
Did Mr. Fonfield have permission from the owner to enter into the business?
No, sir.
Did Mr. Holder have permission from the owner to enter into the business?
No, sir.
What kind of business is this?
This is a daiquiri / bar and grill.
Were you able to identify the Mr. Holder and or Mr. Fonfield after reviewing the CCTV?
I was not able to identify them yet. I later identified them at Camelot.
And can you please tell me how you were able to identify, let's take it one at a time. How were you able to identify Mr. Holder as the person who burglarized the business?
So Mr. Holder, we're very familiar with him because he lives in Camelot. He's known as the mechanic. That's his nickname.
What is Camelot?
It's a condominium.
Okay, go ahead.
It's right next to Old National Precinct. So we're very familiar with them and those condominiums. So he's always out there fixing on people's stuff out there. And he has that sling on his arm. So that's how we're familiar with who he is. And as far as Terrence Fonfield, I'm sorry, we had no knowledge of who he was. He was just known as T-Baby, but we later identified him as Terrence Fonfield and identified him by his dreadlocks, his mustache and beard.
And on the CCTV, are you able to see his dreadlocks?
Yes.
Are you able to see his beard?
Yes.
Are you able to see his face completely?
Yes.
Are you able to see it on the outside CCTV?
No, you see it on the inside.
And is his facial features clear on the inside CCTV?
Yes.
And do you see Garion Holder in a courtroom at this time?
Yes.
You can stand up if you need to.
Yes.
Can you please describe an article of clothing that he is wearing?
Mr. Holder is wearing a blue jumpsuit with a white undershirt with a mask, sitting next to his attorney.
And just because we have two different males in regards to here with blue jumpsuits, in regards to the position of the table, is it in the middle or the far
He's
left?
sitting in the middle, directly in front of me.
May the court recognize she has positively identified the defendant?
Noted. I was looking, their lawyers both have beards, glasses.
They got to go by the tables, right, Your Honor? And do you see Mr. Fonfield in the courtroom at this time?
Yes.
And can you please describe an article of clothing that he is wearing?
Mr. Fonfield is wearing a blue jumpsuit with a white undershirt. He is light-skinned complexion with a bald head.
And can you please, in regards to direction, how far is he, to the right or to the left of you?
He's to the far left of me, sitting next to his attorney with glasses.
May the court recognize that she has positively identified the defendant?
Noted.
Were you post-certified during this investigation?
Yes, sir.
In reviewing the CCTV video, do you see Mr. Holder carrying bottles of alcohol out?
No.
Do you see Mr. Fonfield carrying bottles of alcohol out?
Yes.
Okay. Where was Mr. Holder during this time?
He went into the business and then an employee came in and he ran out. Because at first he was a lookout. So he was standing outside of the business and then he went in for whatever reason and then he ran back out once the employee saw him.
And what about Mr. Fonfield? What did he do once the employee?
Mr. Fonfield initially with Mr. Reginald Wilburn used that crowbar to get into the location. So he had access way before Mr. Holder arrived on scene and was standing guard.
Okay. One moment, Your Honor, please.
Okay.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
All right. Cross, Mr. Lyon.
Good afternoon, Detective Smith.
Good afternoon.
For sake of ease, I'm just going to remain here rather than trying to switch everyone around and move things around. My name is Attorney Lang. I represent Mr. Holder. I'm going to ask you some questions, kind of follow up on some of what's already been talked about.
Yes, sir.
I want to start at the very beginning. So you say you see Mr. Holder at some point on CCTV at the location, correct?
Yes.
Where is the camera that you see him on? Is it in the front of the building, the rear of the building?
It's the rear of the building near the dumpster by the wood line.
Okay, so it's rear near the dumpsters.
Mhm.
There was a little bit, I got a little confused with the direct testimony, so I want to clarify. You said 2 males forced entry to the building and went and stole some liquor bottles, correct?
Yes.
You're not saying that Mr. Holder was one of those 2 individuals who broke into the building, correct?
No, he was
Those
not.
2 individuals were Reginald Wilburn and Terrence Fonfield?
Correct.
Mr. Holder was not.
He was not.
Okay. What door did they enter the building from?
Terrence and Reginald,
Correct. You said
That
they
same-
made that same door?
that same door.
Okay. Now, I believe you said that after these 2 males were already inside of the building, that's when Mr. Holder appears near the same door, correct?
Yes.
At any point on camera, did you view Mr. Holder interacting with these 2 males?
Yes.
At what point did you view them interacting?
The Reginald and Terrence went back and forth multiple times to the wood line, to the vehicle, back to the business. And then eventually Mr. Holder is seen with them while they're getting more liquor. And then he's standing outside on camera with his sling, with the white shirt and some black pants. And then he goes inside and the employee comes in and then he runs out and you don't see him anymore.
Okay. How many times had Mr. Wilburn and these 2 other males, how many times had they entered and exited the premises before Mr. Holder appears?
At least 2 or 3 times.
Okay. So with whatever they were doing, they had done 2 or 3 trips back and forth before Mr. Holder appears.
Yes.
Okay. Now, your allegation is that Mr. Holder was the lookout, correct?
Yes.
However, he showed up. How long do you think these 2 to 3 trips had taken them to make? 10, 15 minutes?
Maybe.
Okay. So the supposed lookout didn't show up until about 15 minutes after everything had begun?
That's correct.
Was Mr. Holder arrested on scene?
Mr. Holder was arrested in September of 2022. He was not arrested that day in August.
On CCTV, did you view him holding any kind of crowbar or any burglary tool?
No,
Was he holding any kind of duffel bag or something that would show intent to move large quantities of things away?
no,
Was he ever viewed interacting with the vehicle that you said Mr. Wilburn or Mr. Fonfield were interacting with?
no, not to my knowledge.
Okay. Did you speak to the owners of that business as to whether they knew Mr. Holder?
No,
Did you ask them if perhaps Mr. Holder was someone who lived in the neighborhood and would come pick up the recycling cans in the back of the property?
no,
Whether he had an ongoing arrangement with them to show up at the property for that purpose?
no,
Okay. Do you know whether when Mr. Holder was arrested, any contraband related to this business was found on his person?
no.
Now, I know you said a couple of times you saw him interact with Mr. Wilburn or these 2 other individuals. What was the nature of that interaction? Did they stand outside talking for a couple of minutes? Was it a passing word?
It was in passing because you can see them running back and forth inside and outside.
Okay. Do you remember if they shook hands, any kind of greeting or interaction as though they knew each other?
No,
On that CCTV footage, did the 2 males appear relieved? Hey, you finally showed up.
no,
Okay. Did they seem to know who this person was at all?
I can't advise. I'm not sure.
The surveillance footage, do you know if a copy of it was ever obtained and
It
put into
was.
evidence?
It's in evidence, that
Okay.
property.
Were you one of the officers who arrived on scene or were you assigned this case afterwards?
I don't see.
Okay. Was your body worn camera activated? Or did you have a body worn camera? I know sometimes detectives don't in the field.
I can't recall.
Do you know if any of the other officers on scene would have had their body cameras?
I believe Officer Curtis had his camera on.
Okay. And standard procedure would be if his body worn camera was on, any video would be uploaded online for future use in this case,
Yes.
right? Okay. Did you speak with I think you said Reginald Miller was the owner of the facility? Did you speak to him about whether he had prior knowledge of any of these three individuals?
I asked him if he knew any of the suspects or did they work for him, and he advised no.
Okay. Did you show him photographs of these people in order for him to make that determination?
He's seen the video footage.
Okay. Are you aware of whether he has ever identified any of the three males as, yes, these are the individuals who are involved with my business?
No.
Okay. On body camera, or not body worn camera, I'm sorry, surveillance camera. You said at one point you see Mr. Holder enter the business, correct? Where does he appear to be moving once he gets into the business? So he's at the back, he walks through the back door. What room does he walk into there?
So when you come in, it's a kitchen where you wash dishes. So yeah, he came into that point and he didn't get far. And then he ran back out.
Okay, so he gets in near the dishwashing area?
Yes.
You said then a employee of the business comes in, correct?
Yes.
Does it appear there's words shared, or
There's no sound.
are you able to see if either of them speak to each other?
No.
Okay. Mr. Holder sees this person and leaves the business?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Detective.
Hello.
My name is Brian Olive. I represent Mr. Fonfield here. Between these two, they've gone through a lot, so I don't really have a lot of questions for you. So what day was Mr. Fonfield placed under arrest?
September 16, 2022.
Is that the same day of the incident?
No.
Okay, who placed him under arrest?
CID, the Criminal Investigation Division. I'm not sure exactly which detective, but one of us did.
Okay. And do you know if they were wearing any body-worn cameras or anything at the time of the arrest?
I can't recall.
Okay. Do you know if they interviewed the Mr. Fonfield?
He was interviewed.
Okay. Do you know that what was said, or whether it was Mirandized?
He was Mirandized, and he did write a statement advising that he committed the burglary to take care of his 5 children and that he had remorse for what he did.
Okay, and is this statement in evidence?
Yes.
Okay. All right, no further questions, Judge.
Anything else from the state?
Yes, you said Mr. Holder was the lookout.
Yes.
And looking at the CCTV video, why do you assume that he was a lookout?
I assume that Mr. Holder was a lookout because there's currently a burglary in progress with males in and out of a business in the Woodline, taking it to a vehicle that's stolen. You come up to the business and stand guard. You go into the business and then you run back out once you see employees are there. What other reason would you have to be going into a business that you're not employed with? You have no reason to be there. On top of there's 2 males stealing that you're in passing with who you live out in Camelot with. So what other reason would you have to be there?
No further questions.
Anything else, Mr. Lang?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. You said that Mr. Holder was the lookout because why would he be here if these 2 men were stealing these things? Did the items have any indication on them saying, hey, these items are stolen?
Those items were identified as stolen by the owner and by the employees.
Correct, but I'm saying when Mr. Holder would have been standing near that back door, is there anything signifying that those items have been stolen?
Objection, Your Honor. Mine was limited in regards to working as a lookout. He's asking specifically in regards to stolen items from inside of the actual business, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I may, the state asked, why do you think he was the lookout? The officer provided, this is why I believe he was the lookout, and I'm now asking questions to expand upon that information. That's well within the scope of what the DA asked about.
It's beyond the scope, Your Honor, because mine was, what was her basis for saying that he was a lookout? She explained it. Now he is asking about specifically inside was items identifiable. That's beyond the scope, Your Honor.
All right, rephrased it. Anything else?
You said that you believe Mr. Holder was the lookout because these items were being stolen and he was there witnessing it.
Correct.
Was there any indication at that time that those items had been stolen?
Objection, Your Honor. I renew my same objection because that is beyond the scope of what I stated, Your Honor. Mine was simply what was her basis in regards to why he was a lookout.
And Your Honor, I'm asking questions to expand upon her basis as to why he believes he was the lookout. To say these items were stolen, he should have known this, therefore he's the lookout. What I'm asking about is, of course, as the officer being told these items are stolen, she knows they're stolen. The owner of the business, knowing he did not give anyone permission to remove those items, would know they're stolen. A random individual standing in the back, seeing two males moving items from inside the building to a car, could have just as easily believed that they were employees and that those items weren't stolen. There's no reason whatsoever he should have known these items were stolen unless
Objection,
there was
Your Honor.
additional information,
Now
which
the
is what I'm
defense counsel
asking
is
about.
testifying, Your Honor.
How could you relate? Oh, Ms. Gandy's like, stop talking over each other. Her eyes got big. I think she's mad. How does that still relate to the fact of the lookout? The question he asked about the lookout.
Because what I'm trying to show you, Your Honor, is that in order to say these items were being stolen, therefore he's the lookout because he was there, we need to know whether he knew these items were stolen, because that's the basis upon which he's being called the lookout. He knew these items were stolen and he was making sure nobody came in to interrupt the stealing. The question is, did he know they were stolen? Because if not, he's just some random guy standing in the back of the building not knowing what's going on, and these might just be employees taking things somewhere else for all he knows. That's why I'm asking the questions of, were any of the bottles broken? Was there packaging on them? Was there something saying property of this place on them? Information like that. Because to say he was back there and didn't do anything, therefore he's the lookout, if he's not involved with these men and just sees two people moving things from outside of business, the likely assumption is that they're employees moving things from the business, as would be their job.
What?
So to say he's the lookout because two men were moving things is not accurate unless there's additional information as to why he should have believed these two males were stealing something. And again, I don't want to jump into my entire probable cause argument now, but
That's probably more connected as far as
I've never seen nothing stolen like that.
how you believe that he's connected to the other two males, more so than he was just standing there.
you know, at this point, I'll withdraw and make my probable
I kind of
cause
get what you're
argument.
asking, but yeah.
I'll make the probable cause argument based on what I already have.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Olaf?
No, thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. McCauley?
You had a statement, nothing else, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Officer, Detective. Have a good week.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead with argument.
No argument, Judge.
Mr. Lane.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask the court not to find probable cause in Mr. Holder's case. Mr. Holder is being accused of being the lookout in this case. Therefore, I guess would be being charged party to a crime for the burglary. There's several issues here. The first being, if Mr. Holder was allegedly the lookout in this case, he shows up 15 minutes after this crime has already allegedly begun, does not appear to exchange any form of pleasantries or words with the individual stealing these items, stands in the back of the property for a few moments, goes inside for all of 5 seconds, and then leaves. There's no information being presented that he was somehow involved in this burglary. Now, obviously, I don't have the ability to call Mr. Miller today. I was not able to subpoena him. However, Mr. Holder has an ongoing agreement with that property where he shows up, removes the recycling.
Facts not in evidence.
This is argument.
Your Honor, I'm providing the information as argument. The court can take it with whatever grain of truth it desires to.
Sure.
Mr. Holder has an ongoing agreement with this property where he picks up the recycling and uses it to sustain himself by returning those items through, one of these recycling companies. That's the reason he was on that property. I understand the argument of bad timing, but that's essentially what happened here. Mr. Holder showed up. He did not know who these two males were. He had no interactions with them. If he did have interactions with them, I would ask why he's never seen helping them move any of these items, not keeping a lookout near the alleged getaway vehicle, not walking in and helping with any of these incidents. He shows up 15 minutes later and leaves before whatever happened was done. That's not a lookout. That's somebody who happened to be at the property in passing, but is not involved in this burglary. There's no information presented about him getting any benefit from this burglary, having any of the proceeds on him at a later date when arrested. The information, again, states that they kind of spoke in passing, him and these two other males. There was no greeting, no any evidence whatsoever that they were expecting his arrival or planned on him being there. Based on all of that information, I'm asking the court not to find probable cause. Again, I understand the argument of bad timing, but that appears to be what this is.
All right,
No argument, Judge.
all right, go ahead, Mr.
Your Honor, I'll start with Mr. Holder it wasn't bad timing, Your Honor. You see two people actively burglarizing a business and you go there, you stand there for a while. They're running in and out. This isn't employees. Nobody is closed to the public at that time. Nobody is allowed to go there at that time, Your Honor. He knows this because according to his arguments that you're supposed to go there to get the bottles. So no, you are not going there to get bottles. You went there, you saw what was going on, you stood there, you interacted with them, you saw what they were doing. They went back and forth to this vehicle multiple times with the bottles from the actual business, Your Honor. And not only that, he is known with the sling. So him wearing a sling, no, he wasn't going actually inside of the business at the time. He was an actual active lookout, Your Honor. And he actually made the additional step, Your Honor. As he saw what was going on, he went inside the business itself. This isn't no mistaken belief that he was supposed to go back there and get bottles. He was supposed to help out in any kind of way. Once he entered into the business, then if he was there on a proper purpose, he went and ran when he saw an employee, Your Honor. That shows that he did enter into the business to go ahead and to commit an additional felony or to rob, as he was actually the lookout for, Your Honor. So I ask that you find probable cause in regards to for Mr. Holder. Now, in regards to Mr. Fonfield, he was there, seen on CCTV, breaking in, using a crowbar and going back and forth to the getaway vehicle multiple times with liquor in his hand. He actually did admit to it at that time, Your Honor. I actually found probable cause for both defendants in this case.
All right, so probable cause for Mr. Fonfield and for Mr. Holder. We'll go ahead and be heard on both. I think both, let's see, Mr. Fonfield had bond in February, Mr. Holder had bond in January.
Funfield. Funfield. Number 18 prior arrest. First offender, firearm by first offender in 2014, firearm by a convicted felon given false name. Open case on probation in Clayton and sentenced in 2022, 3/8/2022 for theft by receiving stolen property for 2 years, couple of FTAs, purchase, manufacture, and sale. That's about 10 years old, and firearm by a convicted felon. And Holder, 19 prior arrests, 1 misdemeanor, 2 arrests for probation violations, 2 FTAs, 17 in 2022. A couple of felonies, but they're old. Most recent appears to be an 01 purchase, possession, manufacturing, sale. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Holder.
Thank you, Judge. And are we able to address all three for bond today?
Sure, I'll go ahead and
All right,
address
thank you.
all three.
Because again, I didn't know about the other two till recently.
Sure.
All right, Mr. Ponto is 30 years old. He's lived in Georgia his entire life. The address on file is a good address. He has 3 children that he helps support. He plans on getting his GED. He was working at a skate rink as an assistant manager prior to being incarcerated. And also he's been volunteering since he's been in the jail. He's been volunteering, doing volunteer work the entire time there. He's cut his dreads off. He's cleaned up, ready to get back into society and be a productive member. He's been in jail for over 7 months, Judge. I believe he got a $30,000 bond on his one count about a month or so ago, a couple months ago. So, I mean, he's been in jail for a long time, Judge. He doesn't have any money. So we just ask, I know the judge isn't inclined usually to give a signature bond in situations like this, but we would just ask the lowest amount possible and not to exceed $10,000 for all 3, Judge. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Lang.
His Honor, Mr. Holder is 60 years old. He's lived in Georgia for more than half of his life. He's a United States Naval veteran, having served 4 years in the United States Navy. He was medically discharged due to injuring his knee. He was stationed in San Diego for all 4 years of his active service. He has 2 grown children. He's a high school graduate. At the time of his arrest, he was unemployed. He's in the process of trying to gain disability due to a number of medical reasons. Currently, while in custody, Mr. Holder has nerve damage in his right arm. He has a severe hernia. He has the already issues in his left arm. There are extensive medical issues that Mr. Holder is trying to get dealt with. However, as I'm sure Your Honor knows, the medical unit at the jail, while doing absolutely everything they can, does not have the necessary equipment to help with a lot of serious medical issues. Mr. Holder has been in continuous custody since September 17th. He was originally granted no bond, later granted a $15,000 bond. I'm asking the court to set a signature bond in this case. The reason I'm asking the court to set a signature bond is we heard at the age of 60 years old, actually I believe 61, I believe he's turned 61 in Fulton County custody, only 19 cycles, 1 misdemeanor conviction. His last felony conviction was 22 years ago and it was a marijuana offense. He's not a significant risk to reoffend. He's not a significant risk to any victims. He's not a significant risk to the property of the state, nor is he, in general, endangered. He has extensive ties to this community. I believe he's the perfect candidate for a signature bond. Your Honor heard the argument made for probable cause in this case. Mr. Holder still maintains to this day, he is not the supposed lookout in this case. I understand the court found probable cause based on the testimony today. We look forward in the future to showing Mr. Holder's innocence in this case. If the court will not grant a signature bond, then we would ask for a bond not to exceed $5,000 so I can put this through the bail project.
So there's a Jonesboro address. Is he going to live in Fulton County or that Mount Zion Road?
Let me double check, Your Honor. That one?
Mr. Fonville will be in Fulton, Judge.
He'll be what?
He'll be in Fulton.
Okay.
Your Honor, the address of record should be the 5685 Old Bill Cook in College Park.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what she said. It must have been an old one. All right, Mr. Holder, position 4, Ms. Aaron. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 5415 Old National Highway. That's the New Orleans Daiquiri Bar. No further contact with.
Your Honor, I'm not sure.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
It's okay.
Sorry.
I know.
3 people. I heard from 2. I'm not used to
I got you.
3.
I
Go
got
ahead.
Your Honor, in regards to Mr. Holder, yes, we are concerned in regards to the fact that he was a lookout, Your Honor. He did play an active role in regards to this, Your Honor. He did actually attempt to go ahead and enter into the building. He actually did enter into the building. And Mr. Fonville, Your Honor, small businesses is a backbone of our community, Your Honor. Going in, breaking in, that's a door that has to be fixed. That is liquor that's not able to be sold. That is additional security that is going to be necessary at the time, Your Honor. We have to understand that we not only have 1 charge of burglary in a second, it is 3 charges of burglary in a second, Your Honor. We are concerned for the public safety, Your Honor. We also concerned for public property. We are concerned that he will commit additional felonies while out on bond. And that is the concern that the state has. We would defer to the court in regards to the amount of the bond.
Okay. So back to Mr. Holder, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 5415 Old National Highway, the New Orleans Daiquiri Bar. No further contact with Reginald Wilson. No further contact with your co-defendant, Terrence Fonfeld. See, you have income monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. And anything, if you have to go to the VA, that includes that for any sort of services, sir. $7,000 good bond.
It's 7. Your Honor?
Yeah. And all right, Mr. Olive. So we'll do all 3 of these, Miss Aaron. We'll start with position 3, but we'll address them all because Mr. Fonfeld has the 2 other cases which were reset, had they're on no bond status. So position 3. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with Reginald Miller. Stay away from 5415 Old National Highway, the New Orleans Daiquiri Bar. No further contact with your co-defendant, Garion Holder. This already has a $30,000, $20,000 good bond. Let's see, position 5. That's 22 CP 212416. Let me actually pull it up. right, that's no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. You have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. Stay away from 6385 Old National Highway. That's Family Dollar. Stay away from all Family Dollars. $20,000 good bond.
Sorry, Judge.
$20,000 good bond. Position 6. 1 second. 6 is 22 CP 212417. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 5304 Old National Highway. That's also a Family Dollar building. Stay away from all Family Dollar. You're gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, and employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. $20,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir. So, Miss Aaron.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you look at the indictment on number 1, does it look like the charges on number 2 were also included in that?
Let me look.
Because it kind of, at first I think it may be, but then on there it says,
Mr. Lanky was gonna buy those. He was gonna buy those.
You have the indictment number, Judge?
on page 6 of the indictment.
Yes.
Do you have the actual number? I don't have the case number.
Hold on, I can't hear you. I'm sorry. What's that?
You have the indictment number?
Yeah, it's, let's see. 23 SC 187281. Because on page 6 of that, it includes this case number, but it says not arrested on this charge. So I don't know what that.
I'm sorry. Mr. Jeremy Ingram.
Oh, Mr. Walls isn't here, so come on up. Come on up. You see on the indictment where it says not arrested on this? But it says re-indictment.
Yeah, I see that for the second case.
Yes, but in the line it says re-indictment in all of them, so.
It's interesting.
Ms. White said she emailed his email and it bounced back but she left him a voicemail.
It looks like those charges are included on the on page 5 too.
What's that?
The firearm charge.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. Mr. McCauley, did you pull that up? Look at the indictment on Mr. Ingram, because it looks like the charges for position 2 may have been included, but I can't really. Because on here it says arrest date, it says not arrested on this charge, but you know how on that page 5 and 6, it talks about all the cases?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me take a look. I saw it on Friday and I made sure today that it was actually true build, but.
Right, but I think if you look at page 6, that's where it talks about case ending in 2393.
These are charges for Ms. Andrew.
on page 5 and 6.
I don't see it. Can I have a moment to go ahead and call?
Yeah, because did you look on pages 5 and 6 of that indictment?
Yeah.
Because it references a case number, but usually, so if it's on there, sometimes it's usually included, but I want to make sure.
It is. Give me one moment and I can actually go ahead and give her a call just for, it won't be any confusion because I wouldn't want to.
Is what, you mean, just hold this waiver down here for you till tomorrow?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor, I do not have a phone number for her. Can I?
You talking about Ms. Love or?
Yes.
Hold on.
I can go ahead and email her and she's usually really quick. I'll only ask her about the one and not the other one.
Okay. On Outlook, you know, if you look, if you search her name, it'll pull it up and
Gotcha.
click on it. It should give you her number. Let's see. It's
Hold on.
it's a mobile number, not her.
Let me go ahead and do it here. I got it. Let me see if this works, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
May I step out, please?
Sure. So, sir, one of your cases has been indicted. 22 CP 212391. Mr. Rawls isn't here. We've reached out to him. The email bounced back, left a voicemail. So we're trying to see if your second case has been indicted also, okay?
Your Honor, do you know what case that is that's been indicted?
The one that's been indicted? That is. That is the aggravated assault on 5/1/2022. And I think there was a co-defendant, Tamaya Andrews. And then that one's still in no bond status. That, let me see who it got assigned to. They got assigned to Judge Leffridge.
I did not get an answer, Your Honor. She responds pretty quickly to emails. May I email her, Your Honor? Okay, with the county district attorney's office. Hey, Mr. Hey, yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second. I was calling I actually was one case of the procedure. I just want to see if that one was.
When did your rookie get hired there?
When he got hired, I have no clue when he got hired. It's like his 15 FTO right now.
No. December. All right. How you liking it? Awesome. Is this your first job as a cop? All right, good. Good for you. I was a cop 15 years. I liked it. You'll stay pretty busy down there too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Your Honor, it was not. It was only the first case.
Only the first one. All right. Well, it looks like Mr. Walsh's email's not working, but Ms. Watts left him a message. Let's see here.
Officer, do you need me to sign anything? Okay.
Let's see. Admitted to the bar in 2021. Mr. Wall, this is Judge Manning. You're supposed to be in front of me for a prelim for Mr. Jeremy Ingram, 22 CP 212393. Only one of his cases were indicted. The case that was indicted was 22 CP 212311. I'm calling from my cell, which the phone number should show up. Please give me a call back. I'm not going to keep the officer here all day. Let's see. No. Oh, yeah. No. I don't know. There's not a phone number that's listed on the state bar. But he was admitted in November 2021. Maybe somebody needs to teach him the rules.
I think that will be Judge Manning.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have your updated information, telephone number, email address. Well, I'm not going to keep these officers here all day, but he's been in 221 days without indictment. The other cases indicted, sir, I think you're there on no bond, but let me see this one. This one has no bond also. As of September. When did you retain him, sir?
Hmm?
Do you know when you retained Mr. Walls? Mr. Wall?
The attorney,
Uh-huh.
last month.
Last month. Ms. Watts, when can we reset him for? Please make it on my calendar so I can make sure this lawyer knows the rules. Since he's brand new.
Okay, let me cross it with your calendar to make sure I have yours.
He's not in compliance with no email on the state bar or anything else.
May 8th should be your calendar. Wait for it to finalize, but May 8th should be yours.
Maybe good for you.
I got a firearms instructor class I'm teaching.
No, May 8th?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Is it just one day or is it for the whole week?
It is that whole month, just Mondays and Tuesdays.
Oh, okay.
So you could put it on a Thursday, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, how about May? Hold 1 second, let me make sure that's your day. Can we put it, oh, it's a Tuesday, wait a second. Cause it looks like 3 of the Thursdays of May is gonna be Judge Mann. May 4th is, I have you down for May 4th, but I think that may be too soon for Mr. McCully.
You have me down for the 4th?
Yeah,
May 4th, it's up to the officer. I'm gonna
May
be here
4th works.
regardless.
You said you have me down for the 4th, Embryo?
that's what I have, yes.
Oh, okay.
It would just have to be an add-on, because it's already published.
All right. Do you want to do the morning calendar or?
Morning best.
Yeah, he said morning for the 9 a.m. calendar.
Okay.
Not sure how he's gonna get noticed since his emails are bouncing back.
True, and I wonder, true, okay, wait.
Hopefully he'll call you back since you left a message.
I did, and I left my phone number as well.
So, Mr. Ingram, if you speak with your lawyer, tell him you got court on May the 4th at 9 a.m. and you had court today.
Mhm.
All right, May 4th at 9 a.m. That works?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Miss Gandy. See you in a couple hours.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there.
Hey, Ms. Watts,
Yes,
I'm finna see if he filed an entry on this SC case.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'm gonna see if he filed an entry on this SC case.
Okay,
Hold on, he did.
there's an entry, but I didn't see anything else after.
It's
that.
another case.
Thank you, officer. Hey, not on me this time. All right, nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Thank you, officers. Y'all both be safe.
Oh, that's another attorney that filed that entry. Never mind.
Yeah, both of them have no bond. I mean, he's here for 221 days with no bond.
Yeah. Okay, I'll finish up these last couple of orders. And put them in the
I
queue.
don't see anything else on him. I called the 706 number. The email he has on Odyssey, Ms. Watt said bounces back.
Right. Let me see, maybe his email is full.
So you're supposed to keep that stuff updated with the state bar.
He did one recently in February. Let's see.
You see anything, Ms. Tracy?
I see a work phone number and a fax phone number.
That's the 706 number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I called. Just went straight to voicemail.
And I called it 3 times and left a voicemail.
That's interesting. And he got a Gmail account, right?
Yeah, that's the Gmail. She said bounce back.
Hmm. That's interesting.
All right, sir, we'll get you back in here, May 4th, okay?
All right.
All right, thank you, sir.
You welcome.
All right, anything else? Yes, sir, that's the last one. Anything else? Thank y'all so much.
Okay.